This, most people can't define what makes a story, yet society devalues education in the arts. You're absolutely right, and it's shameful. So every year for the past 30, 40 years, taxpayers have been defunding the arts in schools, right? Why should we pay to have kids learn drama or ballet or, painting or learn how to play a trumpet? What value does it have? No. Kids should learn how to do data entry so that we can plug them in front of a computer for the next 40 years and get them into the matrix and be valued as members of society. That's what the plan is, right? And yet these same people who defund the arts, where do they turn to at the end of every long day at work and a job they probably hate? Where do they turn to? They come home, they turn on the TV. They get lost in a fantasy world, or they enjoy TV, these stories, to help them better understand their place in the world, to feel less alone. People turn to the arts all the time. So you have actors and writers and directors and set directors, creative people coming together to build a fantasy world to help these people feel better about themselves. And yet the arts have absolutely no value. Where do these people turn to when they have a breakup or a death in the family? They turn to musicians, their favorite music, to help them, to console them, help comfort them. And yet the arts have no value. When I was driving across the country, right out of college, I moved to LA. I drove here. And I drove through some very, very poor areas of the country where people, they lived in small trailers. They didn't have much. They didn't have fancy cars, fancy clothes. They probably didn't even have health care. But the one thing they didn't want to skimp on was their satellite dishes, because they wanted contact with the arts. It was that important to them. The arts are hugely important. Don't let someone convince you that your job, if you are an aspiring actor or writer or artist or whatever, don't let people try to convince you that your work has no value or it's self-indulgent when you are providing for them comfort. And if you can in any way, help support the arts. If you have the means and you're walking through the subway and you see a guy playing the saxophone, if you have a couple of, you have some change or a buck or two, help support them. If your friend writes a book and self-publishes it, buy the book. Support people, right? And don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Your work has incredible value. I help support the arts here too as well. I have a weekly newsletter. It's free with more advice and tips on how to break into Hollywood and just how to lead a more creative life. Don't be discouraged. You're absolutely right. The arts are hugely important.